those, yeah. So then I was like, probably this guy is doing the right thing and I should I should...
guy.
Hi. Before you watch the video, I wish to welcome you to the Song on Fire channel. Song on Fire is an authentic Catholic channel with a variety of content like music, interviews, and lifestyle videos. If you're someone looking to grow in your Catholic faith and wish to have an enriching fellowship, then this channel is for you. Please do subscribe and hit on the bell notification for updates. Now enjoy the video. God bless you.
Okay, Divya, we start. So normally I ask people to introduce themselves, to give a background, but that is the first question that I ask them. But with you, I'm going to ask, how did you come to know about Song on Fire and what it meant to you when you came to know about it?
So it was pure coincidence that I started, I don't know, it just came on my Instagram page, in the search bar. Like, naturally, it just came like any other post. And I was like, what is this guy doing? And in your page,
What is this guy doing?
Bio was, the first thing, the bio said delivered from porn. I'm like, what? Like, what is deliverance? And I was really, like, honestly, I was quite stunned. And that's when I was like, okay, I have to go through this guy's post. And and I started just randomly following you. I'm not someone who actually follows a lot of people. I mean, I do follow, but you were the first, the Catholic ministry, or for example, for that matter, like anything related to religious, you were the first channel that I followed. And and ever since then, you had been posting a lot of conversation, screenshots, and a lot of your videos itself were very informative, be the songs, everything. And then it started off. And that's when I saw a lot of testimonies posted on your page, like by Ammu Cherry, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Anita George, all those, yeah. So then I was like, probably this guy is doing the right thing and I should I should... listen much better. I should watch the videos more ardently. And then I started listening to your videos and I was really touched at that time. So I was not I was going through a difficult phase when I started following you. But I was not willing to give up. I didn't know what the act of surrendering to God meant. Though I was listening, I got that term from your videos, the magisterium, the CCC, like the Catholic Catechism of the Catholic Church, all those terms were new to me. Though I'm born and raised as a Catholic, all these terms were new to me. And I was like, what is this? So this guy knows what he's doing. Okay, so then I should listen to him more. And then that's how, the transformation actually started from there, I can say. So that's how I got to know about your channel. I mean, it did help me in many ways, but I was not willing to give myself completely to God. But yeah, your resources, all that you posted really, really helped me. I still have the screenshots of all the posts all those conversations you put. I immediately screenshot and save it so I can go back and refer to. So yours was something which I always referred to if I had any clarification, if I had any doubts regarding the Catholic faith. Your channel was the one which I always went back to.
That's so
awesome. That's how I got to know about you.
Glory to God. And so Divya, so you're basically from Cochin. Could you give a brief background about yourself? Yeah, so I am born into a Catholic family, born and raised as a Pakka Catholic. We did not waver in our faith. We were completely every Sunday. For us, we can't miss Sunday service. We were raised up like that. We had to go to Sunday service wherever we were. Even if we were traveling, we had to. Only time I think I kind of deviated from it was when I went for work and when I was in college. That time it was like, I was always a lukewarm Catholic, though I was born and brought up like that. I didn't know the purpose of going to church. I didn't know the purpose of praying the rosary every day, though we used to do it every single day without fail. So that was a kind of upbringing I got. But my parents are such lovely parents. They always, be it any feast happening in church, they will be in the forefront. Like, there were all kinds of feasts. Any church, be it any church, we were that much, we used to pray so hard for everything. All the successes in our life, we owe it to God. Everything, like, even if we had setbacks, we never turned away from God. God was always there to support us. Only thing is that I did not get the guidance as to how I should pray to God and what I should ask. So what I understood was that God is someone who is there to fulfill your dreams. You can only approach him
because you have a need, so you approach him and he'll make it happen. So that was a kind of understanding I got about God, which later I realized it's not the truth. So, but so there was a stage in my life when I wanted to become an atheist, but I was sure that I will not leave the Catholic faith as such, because that's one true church. That I realized. Luckily, thank God I realized that. But I was not willing to join any other community or any other, like anything outside the Catholic Church. Catholic Church was one thing which I'll always come back to, but there was a point in life when I stopped believing in God. I'm happily married now. I'm settled in Calicut now. My husband is a lawyer.
Okay.
So yeah,
your sister is a lawyer. Your husband is a lawyer.
My husband is my sister is a lawyer, husband is a lawyer, father-in-law is a lawyer.
Wow, awesome. Okay, yeah. So Divya, so it is said that sometimes, like in our joy, God whispers to us, but in our suffering and in our pain, God shouts to us to show us the way. So in your life, you went through a time of challenge, a struggle, a very, what you can even say it was a traumatic experience for you, like as you were preparing for marriage. So could you share what you went through and like what was your feeling and emotion during those times?
So so 3 years back when we started actively looking for like proposals for groom, there were many like good proposals that came, and the moment we were about to fix a proposal, we used to hear something bad about the family or the guy, and we had to drop it completely. So this went on for a while, like imagine 3 years of time. And before that, I never wanted to get married. I thought marriage is not meant for me. Then finally,
Why?
I was like,
why?
I just did not believe in the concept of marriage and settling down. I was like, this is just not going to happen. This doesn't work. Whatever it ends up in, I was very skeptical about everything. Probably you shouldn't get married. You should just live your life alone. That kind of concept I was having. But then I gradually changed that. I was like, maybe I should get married. It's not that bad as it seems. What if I get all the kind of freedom and all kind of fun after getting married? What if my life is much better and happier if I have a life partner to share everything with? So then that concept changed. And then we started actively looking. But, a lot of brokers came, a lot of matrimonial, everything. Nothing didn't really work out. I mean, there was a time when we were about to fix something and it just like dropped completely. I mean, it did not work out at all. And I was getting, all through this process, I was getting frustrated. There was a lot of societal pressure because we were close to the church. So people started asking, why aren't you getting married? I mean, that kind of pressure. And that is the moment when I was like, I shouldn't go to church. So I was like, why would I go to church and listen to all these nonsense what people are saying? I mean, that's not what my life is all about. I don't have to prove anything to anyone. This is how I live. Finally, parents were also under pressure. They started putting the pressure on me, but it was neither of our fault. I mean, it just didn't happen. So mom started going to a lot of retreats, lot of priests, lot of brothers. And then, still nothing really happened because we all were like praying hard, give us a groom, give us a nice guy, give us the right person. Nothing happened at all. And then I reached a stage where I was like, this is it. There is no living God. Because all my friends are getting married. They all are leading happy life. And I'm like stuck in a rut where I can't do anything. So if God is there and if God is living, if he really loves me, he would have found me a partner by now. But I don't think there is any God. Though I used to go, I never missed church. I always went to church on Sundays. I went for annual confession, not monthly. Okay. I never believed in confession as such. I went for these annual, like during Christmas and Easter was the only time when I went for confession. And I used to do that all because, okay, now society is looking at me. We are closer to the church, so we have to do all this. Otherwise, they'll think bad about us. So that was the idea. So I used to do all that. Finally, but my faith was not at all strong. And my mom used to, in between, from 2018 onwards, she started going to the Anakkara Retreat Center conducted by Father Dominic Balanmaral. And that was, at that time, I consider it as a torture. I couldn't just stand the sermons. I couldn't stand the retreat. It was so much it was cacophonous for me. I could not just stand it. I could not hear it. I mean, it was that bad. And mom used to force me everything. So it's 5-hour drive from Kochi to Anakara, which is in Idiki. Yeah. So that 5-hour drive is all uphill, and we used to feel nauseous, motion sickness, everything. But every single month we used to go until this corona happened. Until March first week we went. Until then we used to go every single first Saturday of the month. We used to go there. I used to just hate it. I was like, all these priests, whatever they're doing, and the prayers, everything is just fake. I mean, I don't know what they're doing, and that kind of so much of skepticism in my mind. And I was like, this is not going to work out, and that's how I wanted to just stop believing on. So my mom made sure that after each prayer, each deliverance prayer, I got the blessing from the priest. From Father Dominic. And I'm like, no, Amma, let's go. It's already getting late. I mean, the prayer gets over at 3 o'clock. We have to head back to Kochi. So we usually get back at 12 o'clock in the night. And next day, early morning, we have service also at church. So this was like a torture for me. One after the other, like church, priests, sermons, retreats. I was like going mad. I just couldn't stand. That's how I was like, all these are just fake. And I'm not going to believe in God. I'm going to divert. I'm going to just stop praying. So all this used to happen. I never used to have my personal prayer. I just stopped praying completely. I used to be there because my mom was looking. I used to raise my hands and worship God. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done that. It was that bad. That's how my move to an atheist or stop believing in God sort of phase happened.
And Divya, so sometimes when we expect something to happen and we are disappointed, we become very hurt in our heart. And and also, sometimes we might resist the healing that God wants to give us, isn't it? Like we just don't want to give up at all, and we are so skeptical, and we have our own thinking pattern, and we just resist. Tell God, give God the timing that I am not healed. I will be healed, but right now I'm not healed. So that's how I've gone through the same process. So was it like that for you? Like, did you give timeline to God?
Yeah. So how it happened was that, so all this drama, okay, I'll call it a drama because it was a drama at that time, but now I wouldn't say it's a drama. So all the drama, the retreat drama, everything happened. And there was a time when I started going through, I started following one more priest on Instagram named Father Jared Cook. And he shared a post on one Sunday morning. Okay, so I woke up and 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm seeing this post where Mother Mary is holding a hammer and she's about to bang the head of a weird looking creature. And that image is, I'm seeing it for the first time. It was a very scary image for me at that time, because first thing in the morning I'm seeing that. I'm like, what is this picture trying to prove? And I read the caption. It said, every rosary is Satan during an exorcism. He's confessing to Father Gabriel Amorth, who was the chief exorcist of Vatican. And to him, he's confessing, the devil is confessing that every rosary, every Hail Mary is like a blow on my head. I'm like, really? All these years I've been saying rosary, nothing really happened. I mean, I was of the impression that devil did not exist.
Okay.
And this was something which was really new to me. Something I wasn't even sure, though I have heard like songs saying Mother Mary crushes the head of Satan. But this is something really new to me. I never believed in it. Then I was like, okay, now I have to read more about it. I was left intrigued. I had to know why this happened. So then I started Googling. So Sunday morning I had service. All throughout the church, so during the service, I was thinking about this image. Okay, now what does that mean? What does that mean? I had to immediately get my phone and I had to research why this is happening. Like that, I read a lot of articles in which the devil says each rosary, if the Christians knew how powerful the rosary was, that would be my end. That is the kind of confession devil is making to the exorcist. So if like during the exorcism, whenever the priest say the rosary, the devil can't even react, can't even act up. So then that's his end. He just has to leave. He just have to leave the body of that person. So I was like, okay, there may be something true in it. And I started, I'm not an avid reader at all. I hate reading. If you give me a book, it'll remain the shelves forever. And but I was so intrigued that I wanted to get this book. But it was really difficult to find in India because it is from the Vatican. I couldn't find it in India, even in Amazon. But luckily I got a PDF book of this by Father Gabriel Amorth named An Exorcist Tells a Story. I'm really scared about ghosts and also it was really scary for me to read that book, but I finished the book in 3 days. Imagine that. From not being an avid reader, I was so pulled to the book. I just loved reading it. Every bit of it was so informative. So there was a time when mom used to come and pray and she understood that I was deviating from God. So she started sprinkling holy water. She started keeping pamphlets of Mother Mary, all these sacred images, miraculous medal, all that inside my room under my bed. And I'm like, what is wrong with her? Is she gone mad? Yeah. I thought she need to be taken to a psychiatrist. I started thinking like that. And then I used to step into the room and I used to see water all on the floor. And I'm like, what the hell is she doing with the water? It's just plain water. But after reading that book, I was so enlightened that I understood that holy water is not plain water. It is used to ward off devil, the blessed frankincense, the sacramentals, the anointed oil, then the miraculous medal. All these, if you actually believe in it and if you use it, it can actually save you from many dangers. So mom was not aware of all this. She did it because a priest asked her to. So then I sat her down and I was like, Amma, you know what? This holy water, the purpose of holy water is this. She's like, how do you know? You never believed it. How do you know all this? And Amma, you have to seek the intercession of saying, you know what? Saint Michael the Archangel. Until then, every single day, we used to say the same prayer. I didn't know the purpose of it. I was like, Amma, Saint Michael the Archangel is the most powerful one. And you pray to him, all the devil will go off. I've been saying this all these years. Didn't you know what I said? I'm like, really? And she was shocked because she didn't know that I had transformed that way. And I started believing and I was explaining everything to her, like the purpose of holy water, the purpose of saying the rosary, how much rosary, how powerful the rosary is. And then she was really shocked and she understood that I'm changing. So that's when mom confessed to me. So in this 3 years time, 2.5, almost 2 years, she asked God to give me a groom. Then she understood that is not happening. So then she asked God, okay, and she understood I was also deviating from the faith. So she asked God, I want you to touch her life in such a way that she come back to the faith and she start believing in you and she understands that there is only one living God. And then she started praying to God like that. And as soon as she started praying, within 3 months was when I saw this person started reading the book and I started explaining things to her. So she was really shocked that actually this happened. I'm transforming in such a way that I have become a firm believer. So whenever we went for counseling, almost all counselors said, your daughter has much stronger faith than you. And she was shocked because she doesn't see me praying. So that was really shocking for me. And she was shocking for her. And she was very, very happy about me. Like, I'm changed. So then we completely stopped actively looking for a groom. We were more focused in our prayer. So God transformed in such a way that we had to just rely on him completely and we shouldn't go for external, materialistic needs or whatever. We should approach him because we want to converse with God. The conversation with God is far more important than asking him, God, I want this, you better fulfill it, otherwise I won't talk to you.
That was the relationship with God. Conversing to have...
Yeah. So that way I started, instead of... I used to do the rosary, the prayers, the Divine Mercy Chaplet, Saint Michael. I know it by heart now. All the prayers, I know it by heart. So at that time, after saying the prayer, I have this conversation with God wherein I'll say, God, this is what I want, but only if it is in line with your will, let it happen. Otherwise, just take it away from me. If it is not in line with you, let it not happen. That's when in your one of the testimonies by Anita, she had mentioned that surrendering to God. I really did not understand what it meant. I was like, how can you surrender to God? That was absurdity for me at that time. But God made me understand what surrendering means. I completely left everything to God. I was like, I don't know. What if you don't want that to happen, take it away from me. So I had the courage to let go of things that was not meant for me.
Very good.
And so that is when the miracles started happening. I started transforming. My faith started growing. And until then, when my mom used to force me to take me to retreats, I started forcing her, come, let's go. It turned out to be the opposite. Dad was also started, it's so much of drive. We have to go. It's a long way to go. It's like, it's okay. Just come, let's go. It's fine. And we never missed a retreat after that. I was so, I would say, Okay, so what happened was, after one of the monthly retreats, the first Saturday retreats, we wanted to attend the residential retreat because it is very difficult to get there. Too much of bookings and all that. So at that time, they started counseling sessions. Otherwise, on a daily basis, they started counseling sessions. So like that, we went and met a nun over there. And she's the one who said, I can see a lot of saints beside you. I can see. So I didn't know about Padre Pio, the stigmata. All these were new terms for me. So all the knowledge I got through the book. And stigmata and all that. And I was like, okay, I started seeking his intercession, then Saint Michael, all that. So she's like, so the nun said, Mother Mary is right inside your house. She's all around the house. I can see her walking on you. I'm like, how can she see that? I mean, like that was like strange for me. I mean, I didn't believe it because as soon as she came in, as soon as we walked in, she was like, within 10 minutes, the counseling got over because we were that prepared in prayer. And she said, Divya, in December, so we went to her in October end. And Divya, by December, before Christmas, God is giving you a gift. Be prepared for it. I'll give you a set of prayers. And I'm like, really? So praying is enough, right? So like that, we went to her and, she gave us this list of prayers to say. And it was she asked us to do it for 40 days. So like that, we started praying. So it was a lot of prayer. She asked Mom to pray. So we had to pray the 4 mysteries. I had to do one full mystery. Dad had to do one. Mom had to do one. And the 4th one, all of us together. And a lot of Bible readings. But seriously, that was the most informative part. I mean, about the Gerasenes demoniac and all those regarding the devil. All these are actually clearly explained in the Bible, which I didn't know. So it was enlightening for me. That's another phase of my life, which I really loved. And I started reading wherever I was. We found time to do it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, imagine that was a lot of us to a lot of prayers to do. And still we found time to do that. And in between, I got a chance to do the residential retreat. So until then, I thought, all these priests are just fake. They don't know what they're doing. They are just there for the sake of it. And as soon as I entered the residential retreat, the first 2 to 3 days, I was just crying. I was in deep regret. I repented for all my stupid thoughts. How could I be so foolish? So that's when I realized I came across a post which said, devil creates confusion.
Yeah.
Whereas God grants you rest and peace and tranquility. That's when I understood, okay, all this confusion were caused by the devil. And the minute I went there, I saw, first day he couldn't come. Second day when he came, I was in tears. The moment I saw him, I was in tears. I did not feel that it was Father Dominic standing there. I felt the presence of Jesus there. And I was so much in repentance. I was like, how could I be so stupid? How could I not know the living God? I mean, so many years of my life just got wasted not knowing him. How being born into a Catholic family is just such a blessing, but I did not value it. And the confession happened. That was one of the best confession ever that happened in my life. Then afterwards, I went for counseling again to the same nun. And she said, no, Divya, you're crying because God is showering his grace on you. Just be happy and just pray hard. Just continue your prayers and believe in it. And I'm still telling you. So she didn't remember me when I went. But then immediately she said the same timeline as to, by Christmas, God is giving you a gift. We believe in it strongly. I'm like, okay, maybe. Still, I was like, maybe it will happen. And then so whatever happens, whatever God is planning to give, he will give me. I knew that. So I still continued my prayers. It went on and on and on. Exactly on the 40th day, my husband came to see me. My then, the groom to be came to see me. And I was like, Mom was also confused. Is this what this nun meant? Is this the guy? Is this the guy? We were too confused. But at that time, we had very few proposals in hand, just 1 or 2. So,
and this was one of it.
This was one of it. So we were again in confusion. What if this is not the one? What if the other one is the guy? So that's a lot of, again, devil creates confusion. So we were too confused. We again went back and prayed and, we started talking in the sense, like we spoke to each other just for 10 minutes. Imagine just 10 minutes and he went. Then parents came to see me. Wonderful set of parents. I really gelled along with the mother and like his sister. And dad was also very sweet guy. They took me out, and that was all something new for me. I mean, how can they accept me immediately to their family? So that was something very new. And then on the day of the Christmas, so they asked us to come to their house in Calicut. And then on the day of Christmas, we called each other. I mean, parents called each other, and they're like, "I think it's time. Let our children decide and talk and decide whether they want to take things forward." And initially, we had nothing much to talk, but it was I did not feel uncomfortable even a bit. He was very caring. He did not ask anything crooked or any sort of weird questions. He was very like on the face, but he made sure that I was comfortable. And he always asked me what you want to do. He gave me the space to do, I mean, what do you say? Not that uncomfortable sort of feeling, but he made sure that I was okay. And instead of annoying me, that kind of personality. He was very calm and composed. Talks very less. I'm the one who keeps on talking. So, so like that, it went on, and we visited their house. Everything was fine, and then within a week's time, so that imagine the nun said, "Christmas, you'll get a gift," and we actually got a gift. The entire family, the groom, everything. I mean, 3 years, if God made me wait, it was for the best. I'd say he is still one of the most wonderful person I've ever met. He may not be perfect in others' eyes. Trust me, he's not perfect in others' eyes. But for me, he's a perfect blessing God gave me, because so understanding, he is so supportive of whatever you want to do. He'll never interfere in anything I do. I mean, it's one of the best. I mean, if God made me wait, it is for the best.
Yeah,
he always gives the best.
I told you, right, when we spoke during the the call which we had. So a guy like that is the best a girl can get. The guy who gives the girl the freedom and the space and who is understanding is the best guy, because that's what girls need, right? Because they don't want to feel suppressed and stuff like that. So Divya, so the story comes to end. Now you're happily married.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to ask you this question. So during the process of you being hurt and you going through that, difficult, the traumatic time, did you have to take an active role in your healing process? Or was it something that...
Yes.
What was that? Other than going for the retreats, inside your mind, how were you able to manage the thoughts?
So I had to condition my mind in such a way that I had to learn to let go of my desires and dreams. I could not just hold on to what I wanted. I had to let go of everything. I had to surrender everything to God. That is when my healing started. That is when I started knowing God better. The conversations with Him, sitting in front of the Blessed Sacrament and not doing anything, just sitting over there, is granted me so much of peace. I mean, that was the best way. What do you say? That is how my healing actually started. And I would say, I'd always compare my mom with Saint Monica. She prayed for Saint Augustine, his conversion. Same way, I have never seen my mom without the rosary or the prayers. She was always, like, day and night, she prayed for my transformation. And I would say if I did not have a mom like her, I would have still been stuck in a rut. I mean, that's how much she used to pray for me. I used to make fun of her. She never listened to me. Day and night, as soon as I wake up, I would see all these sermons in the on the TV, and I was like, she's gone mad. I take her to a psychiatrist. But I'd say she's one wonderful person. So growing up, I did not have a good relationship with mom because we disagreed on most of the things in life, most of the mentality, the generation gap, all that was there. But I would say if she is one person, if I'm sitting here like this and if I'm happily married, I'd give all credit to my mom and her prayers, because that's how much she prayed so fervently, persistently, without a stop, without getting tired for me. And for the wonderful family that we have, I owe it to her.
It's like that lady with 12 years of bleeding, in the crowd. She goes and touches the hem of the garment of Jesus, no matter what. So, and sometimes, when we are hurt and when bad things happen to us, we just, stay passive and we think somehow healing will come. But I always tell my friends that healing is is a process where you are actively seeking out healing. You're not just sitting and waiting for something to happen, but you take the effort. It's not a thing where you are passive. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, it's not something we should be active. See, God is even during. So what I understood was that even during the phase I went through my trials and tribulations, God was there right with me. It's just that I had to open my eyes and look. So even if you're going through a good phase or a bad phase, you have to be receptive. You have to learn to be receptive and seek the hand of God, seek the power of God. If He is there, whatever phase you're going through will seem like a piece of cake. Trust me, all the crosses that you bear, if God is there with you, He will support you. He will be there right with you all throughout your journey. And that's what I understood, because even if so, there was a time when after a marriage got fixed, the corona happened, and then I was like, how is this even possible? But still, I did not pray for a grand wedding. Me and Sabin is my husband's name. Sabin and I did not want a grand wedding. We just want a peace. We wanted only a peaceful, nice, sweet wedding within the presence of God. And so wedding got fixed in Feb. Within a month or two, the corona happened, the lockdown happened, and we were like, and wedding was supposed to happen wedding was planned to happen on May 31st, sorry. And everything went as planned, but all this corona confusion, again, a lot of confusion. Should we push the day? Should we not make it happen? Should we wait for corona to settle? Lot of confusion again happened, but we were like, we'll see, let the lockdown. So each time they will, when it's going to end the lockdown, they'll again extend it. So then we were like, why are we still, confused? Should we take it off completely, or should we wait? And again, so much of confusion happened. But everything went as planned. I would say it's my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law really, really worked hard to make it happen smoothly. And coincidentally, on May 31st was the day of the Pentecost, which we did not plan. It happened by the grace of God. We don't know how it happened. On the day of the wedding, when the bishop came and said, Father Joseph Pamplani, he's Sabin's relative, he said, today is the day of Pentecost, and I'm sure you did not plan it accordingly, but today is a very special day, and you both are here because God wants you to be here. So the sermon he said, the speech he said was the most beautiful, and it was a very small wedding with 50 guests. And that's exactly how me and Sabin and I wanted. Exactly like that it happened. Lot of confusion was there. We had to take the travel pass. We had to take a lot of, the permission from the police station. All that was there, but everything happened so smoothly that it was one of the most peaceful wedding that ever happened. And it was during the lockdown.
And as we said, right, if God wants your marriage to happen in a certain day, even Corona can't stop it.
Can't stop it. Yeah, exactly. It was exactly that, in spite of all the confusion, and we weren't even sure we would get our dresses stitched. It was that bad. But we got everything ready and it happened so smoothly. And there was no, problems or any issues that happened due to the wedding. And if we had, pushed it, maybe that was not God's plan. So each time, during that course of 2-3 months when we were waiting for our wedding, we used to pray every single day. Sabin and I used to pray every single day, and I always prayed. I could have asked God, I want to make the wedding happen on May 31st, whatever happens. Instead of that, I gave it to God. God, if this is the day that you want my wedding to happen, let it happen. Otherwise, you set another date and let it happen on that day. I mean, whatever happens, let your will happen. That every single day I used to pray like that. Let your will be done. Let your will be done. That is how I learned to surrender to God, even during that hardship phase. So only if you actively start,
seeking healing,
looking for God and speaking to Him, that's only when miracles will happen in your life.
And when this groom came, your husband, when that proposal came, did you not think, oh, I'm still not healed, I should not think about marriage now, I should be completely healed before I go through? Was something like that in your mind?
No, at that time I would say I was like 80% healed.
How did you know that you were healed?
Because I started actively seeking God. I started conversing with God. Until then I realized that I did not have a conversation with God. I was just saying the rosary. I was just praying different prayers, novenas, just for the sake of it. I did not understand. I did not understand it on a deeper level. So that's when I understood God is hearing my prayers and He will make it happen. If God is definitely there and He will make it happen when it's time to happen. So I was sure, I was almost healed, I would say, but I was confused as to whether this is the right guy. So, but after talking to him, I was really happy and comfortable. And that was the first time such a thing happened. All of us happy with one guy was like either I'd be happy, my parents won't be happy, or parents will be happy, I won't be happy. But this is a time when all three of us were happy. My sister was not there. All three of us were very happy with him. So then probably this is the one. That's when we understood. So the more closer, the more healed you are, you'll get a clearer picture of everything. God will make sure that your path is clear. Well said, so that's when I understood. Yeah.
And that's when you knew that you were, I mean, at least the process of healing.
Yeah, the process of healing. And in spite of all that, usually, so when I was in my college days and my school days, I used to pray for my exams or whatever I needed. I used to pray. Once I get that, I'll stop praying. But during this process, I understood that God is not something you should just let go of once it's done. You can't push Him away. I mean, He should be there with you, whatever happens, good or bad, He should be there. If something good is happening, thank God, because He is there to support you. If something bad is happening, tell Him, this is not right. I don't know. Please give me the strength to bear it. That is what I learned. That's why even after the wedding got fixed, I did not stop my prayers. I was like, this is not something to end. And even now, even today, every night, Sabin and I, we pray together, whatever happens, however tired we are, however sleepy we are, we make it a point to do Bible reading. Like, this is besides the family prayer that we do, Bible reading, the personal prayer, everything. We have made it a point to do it every single day without fail. And that is what our happiness is all about. All our happiness, all the peace, we owe it to God. And He also changed you. I'd say, I'd say when I was going through a phase of not getting married and the frustration phase, right? After talking to Sabin, that is when I realized he was also going through the same phase.
Oh.
So God actually wanted to transform me so that in a way I will transform him. He also stopped praying. Correct. He also stopped going to church. Now he also started praying. He's also coming to church. So he also transformed in a way through me. It took time, but he started believing in God because, okay, now God has found the right person for me. So then I should be happy and I will start praying. And it really, he also transformed in a way. A little bit more transformation is left, but slowly, step by step.
So, Divya, I was just thinking, sometimes God allows certain things to happen in our lives so that, we can be broken, we can be shaped and molded according to how He wants us to be, according to His plan. So, do you think what happened in those 3 years was something that God allowed so that, you could realize and introspect and come more closer to Him?
Yeah, correct. Because those 3 years, I was really shattered. As in, I could not, almost all my friends got married and I was not getting married. Like, I was not getting the right groom. I was really broken. I'm not getting a happy life. I'm really stuck in a rut. I can't do anything. I can't go anywhere. I mean, in the sense, like, parents are like, you can't go for a job outside. If you're outside, how will you see the groom? So I was like literally stuck at home because of this groom hunt. So I was like, this is not happening and this is nothing, like there's nothing positive happening. So that's when I was like really shattered. But now when I look back, I'd say God made it happen in such a way that He made me, He broke me and He repaired me in such a way that I will not be broken again. So that is the kind of strength He gave me. The power of Holy Spirit, all these, I never believed in sacraments. Now I'd say this confession, the Eucharist, all these are something which, that's something, being a Catholic, we should be proud of. So I'll never deviate from my faith. I will never leave God. Whatever happens, even if I don't get time to pray, I'll just say my prayers in my mind. Even if I'm doing something, I'll just say something in my mind like, God, this is what I'm doing. Please help me to do this. That is how I converse with God. I know God is right there, right next to me. And I can, I just have to tell Him everything. That's it. That's the kind of a relationship I have with God now. So he actually made sure, like all these trials and all through these trials and tribulation that I went through in this 3 years, it was later that I understood he was there. Even when I had a lot of kind of, morbid thoughts, like kind of suicidal thoughts, like, this is not my life. I have to end my life. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be, maybe God doesn't want me to be happy, that kind of thoughts. But God really protected me from all kinds of dangers, That is when I realized, like a year back is when I realized that God was there all throughout these trials and tribulations. He did not let me be alone. He was there right with me. And that was really shocking. And whenever I think about it, I get so emotional that I actually did not believe in him. I did not trust him. And right now, if you ask me, there's only one person I would ever love so much and I would ever trust so much, and that is only Jesus Christ. There won't be anyone. No humans can't replace him. Even my husband can't replace him.
Yeah, that's true. You shouldn't. But okay, Divya, I think that was just a wonderful sharing. I was really touched hearing your story. Yeah. And is there anything? I mean, I know you follow a lot of the things that I post. So was there any post that really touched you that, sticks in your mind?
So at that time when I started following you, I used to see the actress Mohini Christina's interviews. So I was like, no, this is all bogus. This is not going to happen. God has not existed. How can God transform a Hindu to a Christianity? It's really rubbish. I'm not going to watch it. I was so resolute that recently when I saw it, I was in deep tears. I couldn't believe it because that was the same phase that I went through. I stopped believing in God. I thought there was no devil in this world. That was so enlightening. That was one interview that really struck me. Then another interview is that Ammu's interview was the first interview that I watched. And your interview, how you transformed being a Protestant to a Catholic. I was like, seriously, Catholic Church, one true church is Catholic Church. Then Ammu's interview about, it was about not planning kids. Not waiting for,
after marriage.
After marriage, you shouldn't plan. You shouldn't wait a long time until you have kids. So that was also an enlightening one. And then even Anita's was the one that really, really, touched me in a way that, okay, so what you see on social media is not what actually
she went through, hell. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is when I understood that Instagram, all the social media, all the happy faces that you see out there is all a lie. There are a lot of models.
Everybody has their struggles and challenges.
Yeah, everyone. No one is very open about the struggle. But her interview, I understood that the way she said everything, I was so stunned and surprised and really, really touched me. I mean, that she had the courage to do that. So that is another interview. And almost all the conversations you have with different people like the Protestants, the born-agains, all those interviews, I used to screenshot it because I wanted to know how far this is true. So I used to read up more about it. And I didn't know the terms like magisterium, the CCC, and the deliverance. And when in your bio, when you wrote like delivered from what does he mean by that? I had to see your interview. Because of that phrase, I had to see your interview. So just my transformation, I'd say it started off after I started following you. Then eventually I started following a lot of channels. Yeah. But the start was from you, from your channel. After seeing a lot of your interviews, a lot of your posts was so informative. I didn't know anyone would knew so much in depth about the Catholic Church other than the priest, and that would be you.
A lot of people will disagree, but yeah, I'll take the compliment.
So trust me, because all these you had the other day you had put up a post, right? How a Protestant questioned you. Like seriously, how can they do that? They have no idea. Otherwise, they would have given you a good answer. Yeah. They evaded everything. They were so evasive in those questions. Yeah. So that means no one can actually stop you. You're unstoppable.
Yeah, because the truth is like that. We cannot fight against the truth. The truth will always win. And the fact that the Catholic Church is the one true church. And when you are on the side of the truth, your role is very, very limited. You just have to say the truth. The truth will defend itself. So that way, my role is not really big. But exactly. Divya, you know why, how? So I think we've got in touch with, like, say 6 months back in Instagram. You shared something. You sent me a message.
I told you.
Or voice message.
I sent you a voice. Yeah, it was. I think I gave it as a reply to you. I don't know. I responded.
Yeah, you responded to me. I send a voice message to you. Like, I sent to all the people who are following me, and then you responded saying that this was something
I've been following you for many years, but never got in touch.
So a lot of people send me messages like that, right? So for me, 2 days or 3 days back, I was just going through the Instagram to reach out to people, and then I clicked. I didn't recognize that it was you. Then I clicked and I saw the message thread, and there was this voice message, right? And then I listened to her. Oh, why did I not interview her? I should get in touch with her. So it was very, very providential. It was something which so I heard the message. Then I immediately texted you, and I saw if I had your number. So then you said you had changed your number. Then it all happened so fast that today we have done the interview. So it was very, very providential.
Exactly. Hi. Thank you for watching the Song on Fire YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the channel for more Catholic interviews, music, and lifestyle videos. If you feel inspired, please click on the Patreon link to contribute and support to the Song on Fire Catholic Ministries. God bless.